It came. New 2016 JetSurf titanium. Carbon. You can see here, made in the Czech Republic. Shipped to Canada, JetSurf Canada. And we're gonna do an unboxing on this guy today. Awesome! Hey everybody, Stephen Garner here. Today we got an unboxing video for you. So everyone remembers this board. This is Mona. This is a board I rode for the 2015 World Championships in China. And I got a new board for the 2016 season. Still a race board or whatever, but it's the new titanium, different hull design, a little bit bigger engine. Some different bindings, some other new cool stuff. In full discretion, I've already unboxed the board before, and there's some things that have been changed on already. There's fuel in the tank and everything. I want to show you guys what comes in it, what comes with it, and a little bit of this and that. So we'll get Mona off the table here. So for most of you guys that get a new board in North America, it'll come something like this. It'll come in a big cardboard box. The box with all the packaging and the reinforced, I guess they're some kind of recycled paper, like it's like a cardboard, strong cardboard. This whole thing together will weigh about 77 pounds. That being said, the board itself hasn't really increased in weight at all. The packaging is what is responsible for that increase in weight. So once you get all these off, like when it initially comes, there's actually green plastic straps that strap this whole thing together. They used a binder and bound it together. But you'll see that it says made in the Czech Republic. Caution, lithium-ion batteries inside. So if the box is damaged, they're supposed to be cautious with it. Open it up, make sure that they're still good. It'll say where it's from, the MSR engines. This is all out of the Czech. This is the factory in Czech that makes the boards and the engines. And then it'll also have the importer stuff. So this is going to JetSurf Canada because they're the people who imported this board for me. When you take all this stuff off, you'll notice that it weighs quite a bit. In fact, the packaging, just the cardboard alone for this packaging weighs 19 pounds. So that contributes a lot to the overall increase in weight. So we'll open this up. And you'll see bubble wrap. So inside this bubble wrap, obviously, is the board and everything, but something to be aware of is on top of your board is the stand. They do this for a couple reasons. It makes it less likely for the bag or the spot of the bag where the stand goes into. It makes it less likely that it gets damaged, as well as pressure points and stuff like that. And on top of that, I'm sure if they made the box that just a little bit bigger, increase their shipping cost. So just like any other stand, you put the bottoms together, give them a little twist, and then once you have that little bit of a spiral, you pull the opposite sides on the top and it just pops your stand open. You'll see that nice little knot is on the bottom. We'll stand that up, out of the way there. We'll slide off the bubble wrap. The bubble wrap they use is a 2, so it's a 2-ply bubble wrap, so it's a bubble on top of a bubble to make sure that 100% of the surface area is protected. It's good stuff. I keep it when I travel internationally. I throw this back on because it is pretty light, and then I just take saran wrap and I'll saran wrap my board, and it will prevent it from getting wrecked inside the bag. So next we have this bag here. I'll turn this around and I'll take it out of the box for you really quick. Just give me a second here. Okay, so this looks like a regular GP bag, and it is. Something to note is if you got a Ultra Sport It comes in a different bag. They have a tendency to be sold to rental companies, and rental companies don't travel with them quite as much, or I don't believe they do. And so I think that's one of the reasons why they go with a slightly less robust bag. Another thing is that, I mean, as you move up the stages, you get little add-ons here and there. So I mean, obviously an Ultra Sport is a base model board, so it doesn't get the premium upgraded bag. So as soon as you go to a GP, a race, or a race titanium, you'll get this this other bag. And this bag does have the carrying straps on the back. You guys can see that, so you can wear it like a backpack. And then it's got a little spot back here for your travel slip or whatever to make sure that it's going to the right destination. You can put your name and personal info on there. And then you can see here how it has a stand, or a bag for the stand, where the Ultra Sports, I don't believe, have that on their plain black bag that they have. Okay, we'll pop this guy open. Okay, first thing to note is this little compartment right here. On the old boards, like the GP 100 last year, like the 2015 one stuff, you could actually put your charger in there and stuff. Your charger came in a box, or you could put a ride plate in there. The GP 100s, or the GP, pardon me, for the 2016, it's an all-in-one ride plate center fin, and that will come in the box, and it'll actually be underneath the nose of the board on the side a little bit. And the toolkit you'll also get will be the old standard toolkit, where it has all the pertinent tools you need on the one side, and well, it'll be on both sides, but what I do is I move all the tools to one side so I can put my side fins on the other side. But now for the race and the titanium race, you get this little toolkit, and you open this guy up, and it's got all your tools in there, so you can see them a little bit better. That's one of the upgrades for the race and the titanium race, or the race titanium, whichever you call it. And then in the front of this packet, you have your side fins. So it's nice. They have a nice little storage area for it. It has a little bit of padding and protection and stuff like that. And it's a nice little upgrade for those people who race, because when you're racing, you are taking your board everywhere all around the world, and it's nice to have a nice little kit that holds it. So let's get back to this packet that comes on the side. Anyone who buys a board in Canada after it's PDI'd will have a JetSurf Canada sticker in the side of their board bag there, or on their board if they got an Ultra Sport or whatever. That's just so the guys there, when they're done checking them, they know that they're done PDIing it, because that's the last process, is to put that sticker in. And then on top of that, it's nice because the customers in Canada get a nice little sticker that they can stick on the window of their trucks or their cars or whatever. Anyways, inside here you get your safety manual. Tells you some of like the safety procedures and stuff like that. Where you're supposed to pass. You pass on the left. Watch out for swimmers. Don't ride at night. All that kind of good stuff. This is, I think, mandatory for North America because of the water laws here. But something to note is on page 51, 52, so 48, 55, 51, 52, there is a owner, like JetSurf owner's agreement copy, and you have to fill this out and give it back to your dealer. It's just so they have on record that you've read this book and that you comply with the information in this book. And on top of that, it has the actual hull number of your board and the serial number, so that they can know that this is your board. And it's good to have that on record. If you go through here too, it'll also have phone numbers and info for the distributors in the different countries. So if you're in a different country and you have a problem with your board and you need to get help right away, in Canada, you just call that number 1604 and then the number here, and it'll get you right to the people you need to get to. So Anyways, then there's a different service points in Europe and all that kind of stuff. And then if you go back in here, it'll have a maintenance section. It'll tell you when you're supposed to maintain certain sections of the board. So it'll tell you here that the front freewheel oil, you're supposed to do it every 10 hours. Change your spark plugs every 10 hours. Yeah. So nice and simple stuff. It shows you how to do it, how to operate everything. Good book to have. Make sure you read through it. On top of that, you get this nice little technical certificate and a mini version that has like a whatever, not revised, but like a summarized info of the board. So it'll tell you the overall length in millimeters. Tells you the overall weight. It tells you that it's the type is a race titanium. Tells you how many cc it is, 100 cc. Tells you maximum rider weight, 100 kilograms. The color of this board is carbon. Yeah, all that kind of good stuff. It also says down here the battery information now. So it's a 3.2 amp hour. Normal voltage is 11 volt. Maximum charge voltage is 12.6. So it's good to know, because by knowing that that's a 3.2, you know that you shouldn't have your charging unit above 3 ever. So that's awesome to have. Plus it has a little hologram there to show you that it's all like certified by the Federation, and it's also stamped by the Federation. Federation Internationale de Motorsurf, the Surf Motor, whatever. So that's cool to have. Keep that. It's a record that you own the board and all that kind of stuff. Ferrari and Bugatti and all those great manufacturers do the same thing or something similar, where they register their owners. It's just to make sure that if you have any problems in the future, they're dealing with the right person and it's not someone who just stole the board. Throw this back in here. Everyone else is only going to get one sticker. I should probably mention that. I'm a sponsored rider, so I told them I want more stickers. So that's the reason why I got a whole sheet of stickers there. So if you think like, oh, they only gave me one, they must have shorted me. They didn't really short you. You only get one. So the battery charger now, because it's not in the box, it used to come in a nice little cardboard box. Look just like this. Said JetSurf on it. JetSurf battery charger. You open it up and it had all the same stuff inside of it, but it was just this little cardboard box. I didn't have a problem with the box. This charger's 2 years old or whatever, and I still have the box for it, and I still put it back in there every day after I'm done charging. But this is a nice setup because it prevents your battery charger from sliding around the board, so you don't have get any damage on your board. You can actually leave the battery charger in this case all the time, 24/7. You can leave this in here. Still got your manual, how to use the charger and all that kind of good info. And now on the charger they have the North American plug as opposed to just the European, and then the switch over to the North American. I guess they realize and value the North American customer base, and so they switched over their plug to the North American plug. I'm sure if you're in Europe, you can still get the Europe plug as the set standard, but here in North America, we get the North American one as the set standard, so it's pretty cool. We also have the car charger as per usual, which is nice because if you go out and you drive someplace and hit a nice little pond or something, and then you realize that you forgot to charge your board the night before and it's not working right, and you can charge it right there in your car. So you can pull out your charging cable and your power cable, and you can zip it all back together, strap that back to your board, and be charging it, and it can stay out of the water, and you don't have to worry about getting it wet and all that kind of crap. So this is an awesome system. It's great. I really like it, and I'm happy that they upgraded that. Take these off the board for a second. Next thing we'll look at is the actual board itself. So you can see that the titanium and the race, they did come up with this hull design in the middle, or I guess like pre-race season last year. So that would have been after their 2015 season had already started, but before the race in Mexico, they already had these boards out and people were already racing with them. So this is the same hull design as the 2015 race board. It was also a titanium, but it was just in very limited production. There was only a few guys who could get it, and they were all factory riders for the Czech team. So now that they're making them available to all the riders who race in the league, I went and picked one up. So it's got a different nose in the front. It's less squared off. It's got different fin placement. We'll show you that in a second. And these are different bindings. These bindings don't actually even come with the race titanium or the new race board. They're an aftermarket factory upgrade. So they'll run you, I think, $350 or $400 US over and above the regular bindings that come with it. And the regular bindings that come with it are these 3-strap. This is an upgrade. This was the race binding for last year's season, which was the 2015 season, and it has the 3-strap system, which was an upgrade from the 1-strap, which was the standard binding last year. And these boards come with this, with the 3-strap system. The GP also comes with the 3-strap, but it has the bi-directional, so it's got a set this way and then a set this way. And then the race comes with the directional bindings with the 3-strap. I upgraded to this system not because it feels any better or because it performs any better, just because when you're racing and if you feel like your binding is a little bit loose and you're on the track already racing, you can't really adjust it, and psychologically it gets in your head like, oh no, my binding's loose, and you don't feel like you can perform the same. Where this one, you can just give it a little click, tighten it right up, and then you don't think about it. In reality, for everyday riding, freestyle riding, flat water, big wave, these 3-strap are great. There's some kind of ridings where I do like the 1-strap still. So if I have people with smaller feet and stuff like that, I find that the 1-strap is a little bit narrower, so you can like a little more comfortable for people with small feet. So you can see here's a 1-strap. So you can see the difference in overall coverage. So if you're riding with a female and her foot's smaller than a US size 5, then these are ideal. But that being said, it doesn't happen too often. So we'll go on to what else is new and different in this board. Open this up. I used to always put this down on here, and then I realized that these little aluminum pegs that lock the cover in, they actually scratch up your board, so I'm not going to do that right now. Underneath your cover, you'll see that it has all the safety information. You should always use a life jacket type 2 or Coast Guard approved life jacket. It says the helmet is strongly recommended, and then it says before each ride charge the battery, you should know how to do that, and do not have open flames near it. It also has some stuff here about your default settings for your carburetor, and then it has like some charging information and oil fuel ratios and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, anyways, move that aside. So you can see here that I'm already mixed. I got fuel in there already, so I'm not going to pull that out. You'll see too that my fuel lines aren't actually connected to my carburetor. I do have this fuel tank in my board, which I usually don't leave in here, but when I do leave it in, I make sure to connect my air line to my fuel line so that I don't have fuel just draining out into the engine. You'll notice the big difference between the race titanium and the race or the GP100 is the exhaust. It's full titanium exhaust. It's pretty awesome. Sounds a little bit different. And the other big thing to notice is the cylinder head. Because it's 100cc over the 90cc, the cylinder head is a bit larger. Another thing is that the race and the race titanium, actually, because they're in a different hull, the way that the engine mounts to the hull is a little bit different. It has a crib as opposed to bolting straight down onto the bottom of the hull. And then there's quite a few little differences between the race and the race titanium compared to the Ultra Sport and the GP. One more is that the mechanical bilge, not the electric, but the mechanical one that runs off the pressure off the engine, it's a little bit different shape, and it's mounted a little differently and stuff like that. All great things. I mean, that being said, the older style Pro Race, which is also the same hull as the GP and the same hull as the new Ultra Sports, they're a great hull. I don't have any problems with them ever, and I do like riding them still. Let's look at some more of this board. So underneath this board, I'll turn it around and flip it upside down. Okay, before I flip it upside down, you can see here, it looks like there's dual exhaust. There's really not. What happens is the titanium exhaust runs straight back, and that's where all the pressure buildup is, and that's what actually controls the back pressure for the engine. Then off the side of it is the tube for the actual exhaust. Once it goes through the pressure system and comes back in, it goes through the tube, and then it has a secondary exhaust, like a muffler, on this side, and then the exhaust actually ports out of the left side when looking from the back. Another thing to note is where the side fins are. They're adjustable, so you can move them forward and back. So for a regular rider, you want to have your toe edge side fin the furthest back and your heel edge side fin the furthest forward. That allows you optimal turning. You can see my sponsor stuff here, JetSurf Canada, Rhino Linings of Winnipeg, always great. As we flip the board upside down, you can see what I was talking about for the fin placement. So you can see here on my toe edge, I have it the furthest back, and then there's a space right here, and this block comes out and can be moved. And then on the other end, on my heel edge, I have it the furthest forward. The Ultra Sports and the GPs, I think I mentioned it before, but they're a one-piece fin setup. And that one-piece fin setup will look like this. This is wrapped in saran wrap, but you kind of get the gist. The ride plate and the fin are together, and they'll get bolted down as such. For the titanium race and the regular race board, it's a two-piece fin setup because they have to be used for traveling more, and because the fin's a lot bigger. With the larger fin, if it was one piece, it'd be very inconvenient to travel with, because it would be quite large. So they set the ride plate up as one piece, and then the fin as a second. It's also good to mention that they've been shipping the race titaniums and the races with this ride plate already mounted, but you should take it off in traveling, because it will wear out your board bag, because it makes it just a little bit too tight. But yeah, there's their center fin. You can also see here that the intake's slightly different shape, and that there's on the old race boards, as well as your Ultra Sport and your GP, there will be these little, not quite a keel, but they're ridges, like a ridge right down the middle here on both sides. They've gone away from that on these race ones. I'm not too sure the hydrodynamic difference, but if they're doing it, I'm sure there's a reason why. That all being said, that's an unboxing of I guess a brand new 2016 race titanium with the aftermarket upgraded bindings, and all set up for Team Canada racer Mr. Stephen Garner, myself. I hope this was informative, and I hope you got a little something out of it. Have a great day. Happy riding.